Is Lori Wallach, Rethink Trade Director, and still with us is Catherine Boardlemay of Goldman Sachs Asset Management. Lori, I wanted to talk to you specifically about the president's use of IEEPA powers here. We have had an agreement putting off this battle for a year, but it's likely to come back again soon. How powerful is the president, according to the Constitution, in terms of his ability to put on tariffs?
Well, we're going to get a good insight to that when we see what questions the Supreme Court justices ask next Wednesday in the case challenging whether Trump has authority to use the IEEPA statute, which is the basis for his broadest tariffs, including on China. Right now, he thinks he has unbound, unlimited authority, despite the fact that the U.S. Constitution explicitly grants Congress exclusive authority over trade. So the Supreme Court's going to have a lot to say about how much power the president has.
How has the Supreme Court been thus far? There have been a lot of decisions, especially in the shadow docket in front of the Supreme Court. How have they decided on balance?
So that is a question that a lot of people have pondered with respect to this case. Generally, they have allowed more discretion to the president. But this would be a tremendous trashing of one of the most fundamental checks and balances in the Constitution. If you think about our country's founding, we were hatched out of a trade war. The Boston Tea Party was a protest against unilateral tariffs against tea. The founders wrote a very stark set of congressional control over trade, but over tariffs. There are two different mentions in the Constitution, and explicitly it was to take that power away from the king, the president. So if you think about the implications, ironically, a lot of businesses are focused on, ooh, if the Supreme Court says there is no authority here, then things are going to be really different. They won't be. There are other statutes where there are legitimate delegations where they could impose tariffs, limited, more control, scope, etc. But if the Supreme Court were in this instance to say a president has unbound, unilateral authority, the issue is not so much the tariff rate, but endless uncertainty, enormous amounts of potential new power, either to punish or reward mightily other countries, specific companies, whole sectors. It would be an unbalancing that would be more dramatic than by far, than all of the previous extra grants of power the Supreme Court has given Trump to date.
I want to get to Catherine Boardlemay, and from purely a markets perspective, this whole trade war up until now, when I guess we're back to square one for a year, the markets don't seem to care at all. I mean, we're up 18% year to date.
And China's up 40% year-to-date, double that.
Why is that?
Well, you know, taking a step back, I think we always maybe perhaps assume that one person in the White House will determine China's destiny, but actually China will control their own destiny. We're seeing that in Trump 2.0. We saw that in Trump 1.0. If we focus on the specific issue at hand, which of course is tariffs and trade, year over year, China's exports are actually up almost 9%. They're down to the U.S., but they're up everywhere else. They've done actually a pretty good job strategizing, moving up the value chain, rerouting, and frankly, there's products that people just want to buy, like Labubu dolls for your children. I'll get them for you. You'll love them. But that company, by the way, that their revenue year over year was up almost 200, 300%. So they're doing well. We still think economic growth is going to be 4.8%, and we continue to see the best performing companies every year come from China. There's real alpha to be found there.
I bought one in Siena over the summer. It turned out to be a fake.
Oh, no.
So I can't believe anyone's stealing that IP. Catherine Boardlemay, pleasure having you with us. Thanks so much for joining us from Goldman Sachs. Lori Wallach from Rethink Trade. Fascinating stuff, and we'll have to have you on again when we get more on this decision. Coming up tomorrow, Sarah Hunt of Alpine